Every great story starts with an addicting, inciting incident. That's just a fact, which is why I wanted to talk about how to write an inciting incident that hooks. So be sure to stick around to learn more. Let's get started. Hey guys, Nour here and welcome back to my channel. For those visiting for the first time, hello! I'm the fantasy author of the novel Divinity Falling. Be sure to subscribe for weekly writing advice videos. So, to create a great inciting incident, you first need to know the basics. There are 3 types of inciting incidents. Think of them as a general guideline or a starting point, because once you know how they work, you could create just about any inciting incident that hooks. First, you have a causal inciting incident. This is something that the protagonist or another character does that changes everything. In other words, the protagonist makes a choice or another character decides something for the protagonist, and then the protagonist's world is shaken. For example, when a cute character enters the protagonist's life, they decide to get a makeover in order to find love. And this decision will certainly cause a change in their life. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, has this exact inciting incident. Here's another example. The protagonist gets kidnapped by their serial killer neighbor. Here, the neighbor is the one who is enforcing a decision on the protagonist. But the outcome is the same. The protagonist's world is no longer the same. Then you have a coincidental inciting incident. This is when something random or unexpected happens that puts things in motion. For example, a hurricane causes the protagonist to be stuck in their apartment with their crazy roommate. The movie Home Alone actually has a similar inciting incident. While rushing to get to the airport, the family forgets their youngest son at home. And of course, that leads to a bunch of shenanigans. Obviously, this inciting incident doesn't mean that someone always has to be stuck at home. Your protagonist can stumble across something that flips their world upside down. Maybe they discover treasure in their backyard or a dead body in their attic. And last but not least, there's the ambiguous inciting incident. This inciting incident can either be causal or coincidental, but readers won't know until the end of the story. In other words, we don't know if the inciting incident happened by accident or if it was deliberately done. For example, the protagonist's business burns down. We don't know if this happened by accident or if someone burned it down because they hate the protagonist, and we won't find out until the end of the book. Either way, this inciting incident kickstarts other plot points and incidents. Now that you know the 3 types of inciting incidents, here are other important guidelines to follow to really hook readers. First, make sure the inciting incident takes place early in the story. Some writers include it as early as the first scene or first chapter. Some include it within the first 3 chapters. But in general, since you want to hook readers, don't wait past the 3rd chapter. Obviously, this also depends on the size of your chapters. But in general, the earlier the better. You should introduce the world and the status quo and then let the inciting incident shake everything up. Another really important guideline is to make sure the inciting incident affects the protagonist on a personal level. For example, if a crime occurs in your protagonist's city, that's not an inciting incident. That's just the news. This information does not affect the protagonist on a deep personal level. I actually noticed that a lot of newbie writers make this mistake. You really want to write an inciting incident that directly affects the main character. Their daughter gets kidnapped, or they enter a tournament, or maybe they win the lottery. Whatever happens, it needs to shake their world, not their neighbor's world. The inciting incident can either be positive or negative, but when it happens, things won't be the same. You want it to incite other incidents. Hence the name. And here are my last 2 tips for creating an inciting incident that hooks. Make sure the inciting incident causes readers to have questions. They shouldn't just read the scene and be like, oh yeah, I guess that happened, but it can easily be resolved. Instead, readers should be left wondering, how will the protagonist fix this? How will they deal with this change? What will happen next? How will they get out of this situation? If your inciting incident presents your main character with obstacles or challenges, readers will naturally have questions. Finally, make sure the inciting incident creates a sense of urgency. Your main character's daughter got kidnapped and things are on the line. Or your protagonist is competing against their nemesis for a promotion. They must do everything right in a short period of time or they lose out on their dream. So whatever your inciting incident is, let readers feel its impact on your protagonist. So that's all I have for you today. I'd love to know, what's your favorite inciting incident? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I put out weekly writing advice videos that will take your story to the next level. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to from day to day and to chat with me. And before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sarah Frayne, Alan J. Early, and Noah Kovanti from my shout out tier over on Patreon, as well as all my amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate you. And remember, Nour for president!